Hey there, guys. This is Flamzeron, aka YouTube's Tasuke, and this is the 36th episode of the Wheneverly Update. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and I've been doing these for too damn long. um, just figure I should give you guys a bit of an update on what I've been doing. A lot of this is coming from my blog, but I also left some stuff out, and there's some new stuff that's come out. I haven't really been doing too much though. This is more of like a recap of like several weeks, and I'm getting ready to go back to college for my 4th year. So I wanted to get a Wheneverly update out because I feel like once college starts, I'm going to be mainly focusing on a few things. Playing Exilia 2, streaming the Dark Souls 2 DLC when that comes out, doing the Days Let's Play, and then after that's done, taking a little break, and then going into the Boost Fury Let's Play, and then after that, I'll probably do like Mad Father or something. But and then just other stuff. I've got some other videos planned. I need to finish the Star Ocean review thing. Like I said, Star Ocean 3 will have to be delayed a little bit because I haven't finished that one yet, and I'm kind of just going to take my time with that one. Star Ocean 1 and 2 and 4 I had already finished, and I'll try to talk about Blue Sphere as much as I can, but and just basically any other games that I happen to get. Like I know the next game I'm getting from Gamefly is Onimusha 2. The one with Jubei Yagyu in it, which, depending on if they fixed a certain flaw with the first game that I had with it, I may talk about it, but if they haven't, then I'm just going to like talk about it in like a Wheneverly update or just give like a super, super short review of it. But I'm not going to go into too many details about this game, but I will go ahead and say that I've been playing Oath and Felghana, East Oath and Felghana on my PSP, and I'm saving that for when I finish it so I can do like a full review on it. But also, by this recording, I have gained over 500 subscribers, so thanks a lot. I've got something planned that I want to do for it. If you follow me on Twitter, be sure to check my latest tweet, because there will be a little hint as to what that is, and once you see it, it'll be really easy. I don't even think I make it that hard to tell. But yeah, so just a little update on what I've been doing, and I've got some other projects that I'm working on. One of them I'm waiting for the right game to show footage for when I decide to announce it. Hint, hint. And if you've listened to my podcast or read my blog, you already know what it is. Or if you happen to be friends with me on Facebook, like my personal Facebook, you'll be able to tell because I've been talking about it there too. But yeah. Why don't we just jump into all the stuff we've been doing, starting with the animus, because I've been doing more of that than games. The first of the animus that I'm going to talk about is Love Live Season 2, because I believe this was the last one I watched during the spring season of anime. We're now in summer, I believe. This was basically the Season 2 of Love Live, and it's, at this point, Honoka, Umi, and the other I can't remember her name. The chick whose mom is like the principal of the school, or like the headmistress or whatever. The one who always wears like the suit, which is sexy. They join the student council, and now that they've basically saved the school for a while, but they've decided to continue on with the Love Live concert, the school idol project. They want to continue doing that, and so they're at this point it's mainly like they're training for that. So all the episodes we see are episodes of different characters. Like there's one with Reen, who happens to be my favorite character. For those who don't know, she's the girl with the short orange hair, and she likes to go yeah because she's a little cat bitch or something. She might be related to Tiger Bitch, I don't know, but now they have an episode about her. She's self-conscious because she feels like because she's a bit of a tomboy, she's not really girly enough. And she gets put in a leader position because Honoka, Umi, and the other bitch are taking a school beach vacation trip. And so some of them are gone. And so Reen has to kind of be put in the forefront. Let's see. There's also an episode with Nico, because if you remember her, she's the senior who's all like, Nico, suck my boobies. I was going to say suck my clitoris, but... well, I already did. We get to see like her family, or hear about her situation, how like she's basically taking care of her three siblings, her two sisters and her brother, while her mom is off working late. So she has to do like a lot of housework and whatnot. And the reason why she's got sort of like that egotistical and like while she still acts like that, even though she's part of a group, she's like the head. She's the center of the idol group. Cleanse me of your sins. If you can't tell, I just got to finish recording the Symphonia review, the Symphonia Chronicles review. But anyway, the reason why is because she wants to make her siblings proud. And of course, by the end, she's like, I'm here with my friends. I am not one, I am all. But that actually kind of took a different turn. She should say that in the movie. They're making a movie, by the way. Then the only other thing besides the Love Live competition is that Ellie, the blonde Russian chick, basically the female Hyoga, the tarot card girl, and Nico, they're seniors, as you can tell by their green ribbons on their uniforms. And Honoka, Umi, and other bitch are second years, I believe, because I believe Japanese high schools only go to 3 years. And Reen, her nerdy friend bitch, and I don't think there's any others. Oh, and I think also the musical girl who's a bit of a tsundere. I think she's also... I can't remember if she's a... No, I think she's a second year. I think she's a second year. She, at the beginning, had this thing, I love you, bonsai. But, she's cute. She's also one of my faves, because also she's a bit of a... People like to think she's a lesbian, and I'm perfectly okay with that. But, the seniors are they're going to graduate, and they're trying to figure out, once they graduate, should we continue our school idol group, the group called Muse, or should we quit? And, they're trying to think about this while they're trying to prepare for the Love Live, and it's stressing them out, and then they decide, we're just going to not focus on that until this one fucking episode where we change our minds, which, most people might think of it as hypocritical, and I kind of did it first too, but at the same time, it's kind of something that needs to be addressed. So, I mean, and what they ultimately decide is that, that once Love Live is over, Muse is going to disband, because it wouldn't be the same without them. and of course, Honoka's sister and Ellie's sister, their younger sister, they're going to the school, and in the last episode, you get to see them in their uniforms, or they're at least putting them on. And of course, they look freaking cute in their uniforms. That's one thing I like about Love Live. I really like the uniforms. I like the uniforms of the anime version better. I feel like with the actual regular version, they look a little too personalized. I think they look nicer in the anime. I mean, obviously the characters, like the different grades have their different ribbons, but also Umi, she wears the tan sweater vest underneath her jacket. Even though in the ending cutscene when they show what's her bitch and Umi's not wearing her fucking vest. But also, I think also. I don't remember. I'm going to have to look up their names. I'm sorry. I don't remember these characters' names. And it was kind of funny because I started the new season when it started up, and then Honoka addressed herself it's like, I'm the school council president, Honoka. I'm like, oh, thank you, because I actually didn't remember your name. But Nico, she also wears her uniform a little loosely. She has her jacket open, and then she's got her pink cardigan under it. I'm going to assume that the pink cardigan is something she added. Which, definitely nice customization. They've got their nice little uniforms. Kotori is the name of the name of the main trio. It's Honoka, Umi, and Kotori. Those are the main. What's her bitch is basically Kotori, and Nozomi is the tarot card girl. Maki, that's her name, and Hanayo is Maki's the tsundere girl, and Hanayo is the nerdy what's her bitch. Yay! But yeah, but yeah, they all have their different uniform styles for the most part. One thing I didn't really like speaking about Hanayo is, I know she's supposed to. I know at this point, like, she's with her friends and she's not really that shy anymore. But I kind of felt like that was more of a character trait than more like a flaw. And I feel like she seems more. She seemed really energetic and she talked a lot. And it's kind of funny because I think her voice actress is brand new. I think she's the one character who was brand new to voice acting. Which, I don't know, maybe they did that because they wanted her to get more experience with voice acting. From what I understand, voice actors and voice actresses in Japan go through like training and school and whatnot. The music's always nice. At the first episode, they seemed like they were trying to do a musical thing, which I'm like, that's interesting. Snow Halation is a really nice song. Very, very pretty song. It made me pee, but no. And of course, they show the concert of Love Live. They don't actually say who won, but then by the next episode, you see a trophy in the club room of Mew. So they basically they won. They beat Arise, and because Arise saw them as rivals, they kept having a lot of like interactions with each other. It was kind of interesting. And Arise, she's like, the leader of Arise, he's like, "How did you guys win? I thought I cleansed myself of my sins." Sorry if that gets annoying. I'll stop. But I don't remember the reason that Honoka I think it's because like they had like something to really fight for, and even though at that point they had already saved their school, and the series ends with the seniors graduating, and then it's like the last day, and it's like I think both orientation and a graduation. I think that's how Japanese schools do it technically. Let's see. And then, like, they do a big thing like, "Oh my gosh, something's happening! Hi, I'm Hanayo!" And then everyone's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then they do the big plug for the movie. They're working on a movie, a Love Live movie. So that's cool. I wonder if Crunchyroll's going to get it. I know they've been expanding on things, and they've also been getting more dubs. Like, they got the Toradora dub, and they recently got Cardcaptor Sakura, and I really like they're starting to expand their library with not just subtitled stuff. It's going to really help them earn the title of the Netflix of anime. But yeah, overall it was pretty decent. It wasn't really dull. Like, the episodes that were character driven had nice focus. And I feel like it helped conclude the entire story. And of course, the movie, like, I feel like it's gonna kind of be like a K-On! That there's the 2 seasons, then the movie. There may be an OVA I feel like there would be an OVA where it all kind of talks more about like the 2 new girls, Honoka's little sister and Ellie's little sister, because they want to start their own idol group. They're going to be a trio, and that'll open up some possibilities of maybe another story or something. I think this is a light novel or a manga. I can't remember. But it's also like a anime idol franchise, kind of like Idolmaster. I feel like Idolmaster is probably like the big competition here. But yeah, that there is Love Live Season 2. Next, I'm going to talk about Saki the Nationals, the technically Season 2 of the Saki anime. I think that was the winner. I believe that was the winner season. I don't remember, but this one also ended, and I know we got Saki episode of Side A. With this one, I feel like with Saki, it's really starting to get kind of stale. I'm getting kind of tired of watching. Yeah, I keep on because I want to see how the entire thing ends, because I feel like once the Nationals it'll be kind of like Angelic Lair. I feel like from what I remember of that show that I never finished, where once they get past like the big moment, it's like the series will probably end, even if they can do other competitions. But Saki is still like an amazing player. With each episode they kind of make up for the staleness by like giving each character like a focus. I think though because of that it gets kind of tiring, because it's like I don't really particularly care about it's kind of like unnecessary character development because it's like, we're not going to always see these characters. I get that because of like a competition show, like they don't want these characters to just be kind of boring and not really have any real reason besides just being opponents for the characters, even though that's how a lot of competition anime do it, in my opinion. And the ones that end up staying are the ones that have are the ones that get the character development. But a few returning characters return, like I think her name is Satomi, the Wahaha girl, and and the ghost girl. One thing I noticed about them is that, in the first anime, they wore their uniforms kind of neatly and kind of boringly, but in this, they kind of wear it a little more casually. I don't know if, but I find that interesting just because, like, I feel like it's sort of weird to make that kind of change. I feel like nowadays in anime, they're trying to be more realistic in that, like, not every, like, they don't always wear their uniforms really neatly. For my stories, they do, but for most other stories, they wear it kind of they wear it a little more casually, not loosely. Like, obviously, unless they make a point to have the character wear it kind of loosely. And I feel like nowadays, characters being drawn as wearing their clothes a little more loosely, as well as showing different outfits. But I feel an episode of Side A, they still kind of this season of Saki follows the trope of like each episode kind of being like each like one or two episodes being like a section of the tournament, and they kind of do like a giant like turnaround with each cast member. And I believe it ended with Saki, and it started with the Taco girl, which I believe her voice actress is Rie Kugimiya, and she sounded kind of different to me. Like, I know she hasn't done the voice in a while. Of course, Jun Fukuyama is the guy. But I don't remember. I didn't remember too much. Like, everyone else, I feel like did a pretty good job. Like, Saki sounded the same. Nodoka sounded the same. But honestly, I was just getting kind of tired of watching it. I was just like, I would pause it and then go to something else as like a little mental break and then watch it again. I think it's because at this point I'm really kind of watching how they play, and I think that's kind of giving me like a mental strain because I'm not really one for sports anime. Like, honestly, I like competition anime, but I like the martial arts ones. Like, that's what I liked about Dragon Ball, and I liked that about Yu Yu Hakusho, and Saint Seiya started off with one, but it's more about like, I feel like that's more of like a Bruce Lee kind of thing where it's like kind of like Game of Death, how they're going through like each rank of enemies. But anyway, so honestly, and with the end they showed off new characters. I think with Saki they're going to try to keep it going as long as the manga is going to go, and they showed some of this episode of Side A cast. They didn't do much, and I'm kind of more interested in them. I feel like their story's a little bit more interesting, and I feel like they had more drive and more reason to make for a story. I feel like with Saki and her gang, it's just like, I know they're the main cast and it was kind of cool to see them come back, but like, I feel like the episode of Side A cast is just better characterization, and I feel like it's like they got into the game kind of late, so they have to play like these preliminaries. There we go. To get into the nationals, and they finally do. Because that one girl the main girl with the ponytail who always wears that tracksuit until the end, where he's like, I don't want to wear my uniform. Wear your fucking uniform. Okay, fine, you stupid bitch. But, and then she just, like, destroys everyone. I feel like they're gonna try and build up where, like, the two groups meet up. I think that's how it's gonna go, and then finally Saki will confront her sister by the end of it. They showed a little bit of her sister. But yeah. It's an okay show, and I think it's going to continue, which is good because I think it's interesting, and I feel like it's going to be a decent series to continue, and I also want to see how Saki and Nodoka eventually start making out and having the love sex with each other, because I want that to happen. Because the first Saki really, like, people apparently complain about Strawberry Panic being really slow. This one, Saki really pushed the boundary. It's like yes, that's cute, isn't it? Oh, I see you've got a boner. Oh, we'll put it away because I'm putting this away. It's like, stop it, anime, stop it. But yeah, it's okay. It's starting to get a little stale though, so I hope they start to kind of vary it up a little bit. I don't think we need to be alternating between the episode of Side A cast and the Saki cast to vary things up, but I do think we need to start showing more than just the competition. So hopefully they'll do that. I completely understand if they won't, and I wouldn't even be surprised if after this national where they meet up where Saki meets up with her sister and they have a little incest party. No, just kidding. But I can completely understand if it ends like that right there. But if it doesn't, then I hope they do vary it up a little bit. That's just me though. Next on my list is Tiger and Bunny, which I watched in Anime Club as well as a little bit on Hulu because I missed some episodes. This show fucking surprised me. It's actually really, really good. I know a lot of people are turned off by, one, probably the genre. I mean, a Japanese anime on superheroes, sort of like a mix of culture here, and also the whole sponsorship thing. Though I'd argue that it's not that noticeable, and two, it's deliberate. Like, I feel like they probably got sponsorship also because, help with money and, merchandise, but also because of the fact that it would fit so well with the show. Basically, the premise of Tiger and Bunny is that it's a TV show called Hero TV where they broadcast live superheroes fighting crime and whatnot. And, of course, the main character is Kotetsu, who's Tiger, and they new heroes introduced named Barnaby, who's Bunny. And, it's just a lot of the episodes are just them fighting crime. And there are a lot of character-driven episodes. Like there's one with Blue Rose, Karina Lyle. And she wants to be a singer. And she really only became like a hero because of the job. And she's kind of she's getting a little, she's kind of getting tired of it. She wants to focus on singing, but then she decides that I'm going to be both. But she doesn't actually go, but she does kind of want to be both, or she decides to be a hero because she realizes that they're not doing it for fame; they're doing it because they want to save the world. Kotetsu's interesting as well because he's like an older member, so he starts off with just like a standard like superhero clothes or superhero costume. He's the wild card, but then he gets like the robotic suit with all the sponsorship on it, which really with the sponsorship, not everyone's going to recognize. Heck, I didn't even recognize all. I recognize SH Figure Arts and Amazon, and I think a few others, but I didn't recognize all of them. I think Bandai was also on there. Like there's one on Kotetsu's chest called SoftBank. Like American fans aren't gonna know what fucking SoftBank is, I'm pretty sure. But where this anime really shines is its story and characters. They really did a good job with how all the characters connect, all the different plot twists, and really how everything works out. Like, it's really interesting. Like, Barnaby, his whole reason for being a hero is that he wants to avenge his parents' death because he has a memory of someone killing his family, his parents, and he was saved by Albert Maverick, who is like the head of Hero TV. Which a little bit of things about him I'll get to later on, and of course Kotetsu was inspired to be a hero by Mr. Legend, who also, this one's more recent because I just recently watched the episodes that I missed out on. Oh man, like they keep pulling all these twists, and it's actually kind of interesting. Like that's really where the show shines. If you haven't watched it, I would highly recommend it. I would just go ahead and say that, but and there will be some spoilers in this, but basically, like, I'm not going to spoil too much, I guess, because some of the stuff I don't remember, but, the story's really, it's really well written, honestly. It's probably some of the best written anime that I've watched, and I have the dub on the first season on DVD dub, so I got to see that, and gave me some new perspective on the writing, and the dub is very good. The dub is very, very good. In contrast to Mirai Nikki, which I'll get to next, I guess. But Tiger and Bunny's such a great dub. I mean, they take similarities because they have to, because they can't just make everything match up with the Japanese, because some stuff, the lip flaps don't always match up in English, so they have to take some liberties. But for the most part, it's pretty accurate. Like even in like the next episode previews, they have a joke where Kotetsu can't read English because he's old, and even though it's in English, like they still have it like they still act like he can't read it. So it's kind of funny because he's speaking in English, then he says the title and he's like, "Oh wait, I can't read this. This is too hard. I don't know this language." But it's kind of funny because and of course with Barnaby, with Tiger and with Kotetsu and Barnaby, they're supposed to represent an old-fashioned person and a new-fashioned person. Like they even make a joke, like in one of the previews with Barnaby, he's like, "Hi, I'm Barnaby, the guy who uses an electric toothbrush." Because an electric toothbrush is more modern. Someone who's older probably wouldn't use an electric toothbrush unless they're really hip and cool and shit. But a really interesting writing, and I won't spoil too much. I will say Albert, Maverick, and Mr. Legend are probably two of the I did not expect how they took them, especially Mr. Legend. Oh wow! I mean, you can kind of see it coming once you figure out what's going on with Kotetsu, but it's really interesting. I haven't seen the movies yet, and I really want to, because I feel like they're good. Fire Emblem, he's also funny, and I'm kind of jumping around. He's funny because he's like, stereotypical black guy. But there's one scene where he's like with Kotetsu, and they're driving along, and his car gets like messed up. And of course, throughout the entire anime, he's been talking like, "Yes, I'm a Fire Emblem. Yes, cleanse me of my sins, please, with your penis." But then in the Japanese version, it's a little hard to. I mean, you can still tell, but like in the English version, it's kind of funny because he's like, "They destroyed my car." It's like, "Hey fool, you destroyed my car!" It's kind of funny. I like that because it shows more depth to him, and it's kind of funny to see him kind of break character that way. I actually really like that. It's almost like he's. It makes me wonder, because I think I heard in the last movie with a Golden Ryan, which I want to see just on the grounds that there's a character named Ryan in it, because Ryan's my name. I'm interested to see how that all plays in, because I feel like there's a bit of a sexual moment with Fire Emblem kind of learning to accept himself, and I can kind of see it a little bit in the anime, because there was this one scene where it's implied that he's hitting on Kotetsu or Barnaby. He's like, "Oh no, I'm not hitting on him. Cleanse me of your sins." I know I promised I said I wouldn't do that, but I changed my mind. And so it kind of seemed like that he's not really comfortable with being out of the closet just yet. So it's interesting. Again, I don't want to give away too much, and this is a bit of a spoiler for the first season, but I will. A good example of the writing, the final bad guy they fight, who is the person that as far as we know at this point in the story, is the person who killed Barnaby's parents. And he's a Nex as well. And he's very powerful. He's beaten up nearly all of the... he beats up Sky High, who is the top-ranked hero. And of course, he has his catchphrase of, "Arigato, shoshite, arigato." And of course, in the English version, he's like, "Thanks, and thanks again." It's really cool. And he gets beaten by this new guy. I don't remember his name. I might have to look it up. He's a Next. I think he's voiced by Liam O'Brien. But anyway, he fights Kotetsu, and Kotetsu is getting his booty hole beaten. And they do that thing where like he talks to himself, and he's like, "Oh, come on, Kotetsu, you can do this." And then the bad guy, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. He's all like, "Oh man, is that all you got, Kotetsu?" And then Kotetsu's like, "Huh?" And he doesn't say anything. And there's also a scene where he goes in for like a punch, but he does like a flip and messes up, and it throws the guy off guard, and he gets beaten up. His name's Jake. Yeah, Jake Martinez. Jake he gets beaten up, and then Kotetsu kind of figures out how to beat him, and then Barnaby's up next, and Kotetsu, he's all like, "Oh, I'm going to tell you his power. He has really good hearing, and use this bomb. It'll help you. He won't be able to hear." And they're able to beat him, but the thing is, it turns out that Kotetsu lied. He didn't really have good hearing. He could read minds, and he lied to throw off both Barnaby and Jake. So, and I feel like that was so interesting how they pull that off. And they ultimately win, and of course they become buddies, Barnaby and Kotetsu. It's kind of typical, like stuff like, "What? You're my partner? Listen here, buddy. I don't like you, and I know you don't like me, so shut the fuck up and suck my dick," But, yeah, really good show, and that's all I'm going to spoil. The bigger spoiler is just, oh, goodness. And I have yet to see the movies, so I don't know what they give on that. But, yeah, Tiger and Bunny, really good show. If you're turned off from the sponsorship, please understand there's a point for it. It's a really good show, I promise you. The dub's not bad either. Wally Wingert plays Kotetsu, and Yuri Lowenthal is Barnaby. Really good cast, good dub. Japanese music. The only time they dub a song, I think, is when Blue Rose sings at like her job where she sings at the bar, being all like blah 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 blah. And the theme song's good. The music decent. It's really a good show, if you ask me. Would definitely recommend it. Very, very good show. Watch it. The next anime I'm going to talk about is Future Diary, or Mirai Nikki, and yeah, the show's okay. We watched it at Anime Club, and we watched the English dub, or at least a fair amount of it. We had it on DVD, and it's an okay show on its own. The premise is interesting. I mean, the twist they do at near the end is pretty interesting, and based on my friend's misinformation, he told me something that actually wasn't the ending, so it actually worked out for me. But my main issue, it worked out because like the ending wasn't actually what I thought it would be. But my main issue with it is not the show itself, but Funimation's dub. We watched the dub at first, and we watched it with the subtitles on because one of our club members wanted to watch it for reasons I won't go into. But it's a little more personal. I don't think it's right for me to, mention. But we watched it with the subtitles on. For the most part, it wasn't that they went against the script. Like they kept all the lines what they were. The main issue is that all the dialogue was punched up to make characters talk more elaborate. They had more flavor to the way they talk, which most people would think in writing is a good thing. The problem is you don't want your character to talk in a way that is against their character. And it's like I said in the Symphonia thing, like using big words doesn't mean better writing. You got to learn being a good writer is knowing when to use what different techniques to write your characters. Like, the one with the fucking Yuki, the main character, in the subtitles, like it's when like he's like, oh man, like, really is a stalker. And in the dub, he's like, stalker alert, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so dumb. Like, they're punching up the dialogue way too much, and the little kid who, his whole point is like, he's seemingly innocent on the outside, but on the inside, he's like creepy and fucked up. But he's all like, at the end of the episode where they reveal he's a bad person, it's all like, in the subtitles he says, that girl's gonna be real trouble. In the dub he says, that girl's gonna be a real bitch. And I'm just like, he's not saying that. You're not going against the line, but you're punching it up too much. He's talking in a way that isn't true to his character. Yes, I know the point is that he's bad on the inside, but he doesn't talk that way. And I get they did that to show that, yes, he's bad, but again, he's not talking that way. You can show that in what the way he says, not what he says. Like, it makes it more, it makes it more interesting if you don't use that strong language, because then it's like, wait, what exactly is he saying? Like, is he? Because if you use that strong language, it's pretty clear what his alignment is. It's pretty clear he's a bad guy. And then, of course, there's one where he's like, I need to go to the bathroom in the subtitles, but in the dub, he's like, I need to go take a poo. And I'm just like, you didn't say that, you stupid shit. Yeah. And the dub, this one thing that I think worked in their favor is that when Yuno would address Yuki, she didn't always say Yuki. She'd say, like, my love or whatnot, or dear sweetie, or bitch butt, or whatever. She doesn't actually say bitch butt. And I think they did that because in Japanese culture, from what I understand, not using an honorific while sometimes insulting is also very intimate and very endearing. You only do that when you know someone for very long. That I think they were trying to capture that in the Japanese version. I think that's why she doesn't use an honorific when talking to Yuki. It's kind of like in Nyarko, another Crawling Chaos, how she keeps Nyaruko or whatever. When she addresses Masahiro, she's like, Mahiro-san! But then that one episode where she's trying to be just a girly girl, she's all like, oh, wait, I missed it. Yasaka-kun! So I think that worked in Funimation's favor. We went over to the Japanese version, because our president who had the DVD, he only had the first season, so we switched over to the Japanese. That made things a lot better, and like I said, my friend, for whatever reason, I personally think he was just misinformed, told me an ending that wasn't actually the ending in either the manga or the anime. So it ended better than I thought it would. I feel like it ended the way it should have ended. And then we watched the OVAs, which I feel like Yuno's a little bit different in that version, because even though she has those memories, she's not a psychopath anymore. She's not, like, evil. It's actually pretty interesting. Yeah. I didn't really like the show that much, or at least the dub. Like, it's okay. It's not really. I was never really that interested in it anyway. I just don't really care, personally. The dub, it was nice to hear Kent Williams do, like, the Dr. Giro voice on a new character. I think that's kind of cool to see him voice more characters. And Josh Grell was Yuki, who's also going to be Luger in Exilia, so that'll be fun. And he's also Armin in Attack on Titan. But, yeah, overall, if you're going to watch it, either watch the dub without subtitles on or just watch the Japanese, because trying to do, like, both was just so painful. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a thing. The next anime I'm going to talk about here is Ring ni Kakero, which Saint Seiya fans will probably recognize this one. It's Masami Kurumada, the creator of Saint Seiya's first manga, and the manga came out like in the early 80s and maybe even 70s, I think, but the anime came out like in the mid 2000s for whatever reason. It's another Toei show. It's actually pretty interesting. It's definitely different than Saint Seiya. It focuses more on that competition aspect I was talking about that I felt like Saint Seiya had at the beginning with the whole Galaxian Wars. With this, it's the Champion Circuit, or the Champion Carnival, I think it's called, with Ryuji and Jun, or with just Ryuji. Ryuji is basically the Seiya of the show. He even looks like Seiya and shares Masakazu Morita as his voice actor. I feel like he does a good Seiya with the energy, but I feel like this one's a bit of more natural for him. Like, I feel like Ryuji is very much a toned down Seiya, and I feel like people who aren't really into Saint Seiya will probably get into Ryuji a little bit easier than others. It starts off with a match between Ryuji and Jun. They do a big battle, and of course they talk about Jun's weakness is that, his punches are really strong, but his bones are really weak. Basically, he's got really good offense, but really bad defense. And if he punches too much, it'll strain his arm and he'll have to get surgery, which ends up happening. and his doctor keeps saying, throw the fight, but Jun's like, if I lose to Ryuji, if I forfeit the fight, I lose to him. And he literally says, like, there's no other fighter in Mexico or America who can beat me. Ryuji's the only one who can beat me. And so it's an interesting thing. And of course, Jun defeats Ryuji. I feel like, people, I think, see more Shiryu in Jun. Personally, I see more Iki in Jun, just in their design. So I feel like that's where Iki's design came from, is in a Jun from Rin Kagura. So for that reason, when I think of like the rivalry, or like sort of like the two characters going at each other, I consider Seiya and Iki to be that. Either Seiya or Iki, or Seiya and Shiryu, even though they've got, it's like Yu Yu Hakusho in that it's more about the group than the individuals. But I'm not that far into the show. I'm only in like episode like 4 or 5. But basically, Ryuji is like training for the Champion Carnival because he's trying to get ready for a rematch with Jun. I think he's trying to get stronger while Jun is off in America getting surgery and probably going to be fighting. This isn't on Crunchyroll. I actually downloaded the anime because with shows that aren't licensed, that are on Crunchyroll, like that just haven't been licensed by anyone, I just download them because I just feel like every other subbing site just, there's quality issues, and I'd rather just download it all so I don't have to worry as much. The quality of the footage isn't really that good, but this is an older sub project, so obviously it's not going to be perfect. The latest episode I saw was where they introduced the Shun character. I believe it's Takeshi Kawai. Yeah, Takeshi Kawai. And they also show Kazuki Shinatora, who is a kendo guy. So he's like the samurai dude. And of course we see Ishimatsu, who's voiced by Takeshi Kusao. It's kind of funny. And Takeshi is voiced by Hiroshi Kamiya, who you'll recognize as Levi in Attack on Titan. He's also Araragi in Bakemonogatari, and he was also Shun in Saint Seiya Omega, as well as Orpheus or Orphe or whatever in the original. But anyway, I saw that episode with him, and he makes this like little metaphor of like, going into like new territory, and the way they visualize that, which is a way I wasn't too pleased with, is that a puppy gets run over by a truck, like because the puppy kind of came out. And the puppy gets run over and gets like killed, I think, and like, go pull over, and then like the truck is stopped and trying to look at him, and that's supposed to be like a visual representation of like the whole like going into a place that's unfamiliar, like a little baby going into like a dark unknown territory. And I think what he might have been trying to say is that Ryuji doesn't really belong here, I think. But it's and then of course during this we learned that Ryuji has the Dragon Fist. I feel like he'd probably be the Dragon Saint, if anything, if he were to be a saint. He's supposed to be pretty strong on his own, and if we're to assume that all of Masami Kurumada's stories take place within the same universe, then Cosmo would exist. So I guess maybe I'd argue though that if that's the case, that Ryuji would have he wouldn't have Cosmo, but he'd have like the powers that the Steel Saints had in Omega, where like they talk about like, you don't need Cosmo to be super strong. And the Zero looking chick does like that little blast of wind. But let's see. And Ryuji gets like his signature attack, the boomerang hook, is basically the Pegasus Meteor Punch, or the Pegasus Ryuseken. And in the first episode, they show off, because they show it with a flashback of Ryuji and Jun having what I think is going to be their final match. And I assume at this point, it's after they've become like pretty big boxers. This is a boxing anime, by the way. If you couldn't tell by the picture and everything else. I'm not really into like boxing anime. I do think boxing is interesting, and one of the few sports I'm actually kind of interested in, besides baseball and tennis. But yeah, this show is interesting, and like I said, like, so we get to see like It'd be like if in Saint Seiya they showed like a redo of the Galaxian Wars with like Seiya and Shiryu duking it out, and Seiya doing the Pegasus Suiseiken and Shiryu doing the Ascending Dragon or something, or the Dragon Charge. With the here Ryuji doing the Boomerang Telios and the and Jun doing the Galactian Magnum, which is kind of funny because his voice actor is Ryotaro Okiayu, who's a Gemini Saga and Gemini Canon and Saint Seiya. But yeah, so far the show's pretty good, and I hope to finish it while I'm in this sort of a downtime. I'm actually not really watching too much anime right now. Just other stuff I've been kind of focusing on. I haven't been watching Dragon Ball Z Kai. I know the Majin Buu saga is out. I'm waiting just to get dub, and of course by now I've already uploaded the Battle of Gods review, so I'm actually recording this before uploading it. I've already recorded it, but I record stuff in batches now, and I watched some other stuff, but I guess I'll go into that in 3, 2, 1, go! That was shitty. Anyway, yeah, if you haven't picked up, I actually record these in separate recordings, so sorry if it sounds a little disjointed, but that's just how I do it. It's easier for me. The anime I'm talking about is Dot Hack Legends of the Twilight. This actually isn't a new thing. It's a rewatch, but I got it on DVD because I promised to Dream Sword I would watch, or Stan, or my buddy. I promised I'd watch, and he watched the first 3 episodes of Strawberry Panic and hated it, but despite that, I enjoyed Dot Hack. I found it kind of... I'll make this one kind of quick, because this is like the last anime that I've been watching, but I liked it. I found it kind of hard to take the plot and like the antagonist stuff seriously, because it just seemed like, because it's just like, well, it's in a game. I mean, obviously like kids were being put into a coma because of this, and if they are not treated, they could die. So I definitely see the realism in there, but other than that, I just felt like it was kind of hard to take the plot seriously. The voice acting's pretty good. It is old voice acting. Like, this is like an old Bryce Papenbrook role with Shugo. And beat the bad guy. The Data Drain. I feel like this is a very shonen Dot Hack. I feel like some of these franchises try to cater like shonen anime, like with G Gundam and this show with old Data Drain. But the only thing I didn't really like about it really is the ending. I kind of wish we had gotten to see something different, because at the end, like, it just shows the entire group being together. Like, let's do some quests, guys. I think it would have been cool if like we got to see Reina and Shugo play as new characters after playing as these specialty characters. Like, they finally make their own characters. They're just kind of similar to like Kite and Black Rose. And also, I think it would have been cool to kind of see them actually meet in person, just by like chance, or like we're like, hey, let's go visit our family, and they're like, hi Reina, hi Shugo, let's cleanse our sins together. But anyway, that's just me being a little silly boy. But yeah, overall it was pretty good. I liked it. I'd recommend it. It's definitely my favorite Dot Hack. I'm not really into Dot Hack, but I definitely enjoyed this one. Alright, now I'm going to move on to manga, because I have been, besides like UQ Holder and trying to keep up with Berserk and trying to collect all of Saint Seiya. I know it's all available on digital now, but one manga I got interested in that that got licensed, but I sort of spoiled myself a little bit and started reading a little bit of it online, is Citrus. It's another Yuri. This one seems interesting, though, from what I've read. I've been reading the chapters. I've just been kind of skimming through them and just reading a little. I've gotten basically the point, but I'm still gonna buy it. So basically, it's actually kind of an interesting premise when you think about it. The main character is Yuzu. She's a gyaru, a gal, which is basically, for those who don't know, is like a very Americanized sort of big hair, blonde, a spray tan, wearing your clothes really loosely, being a loose woman on the loose, is very Americanized, like sort of Japanese girl, and that's who she is. And it opens like, I'd like a boyfriend. I want a boyfriend so bad. and then of course she the school semester starts and she joins this other school, and I'm not entirely familiar on the details because again I kind of skimmed it because I wanted to sort of save it until I actually read the manga myself. I think there are only 2 volumes out right now, and the first volume is going to be coming out in English in December by 7 Seas, the same people who did Strawberry Panic and Girlfriends. But let's see. And there she meets May, who ends up becoming her sister. And May's really stern. She got long black hair. She's supposed to kind of be like I guess like a foil. Is that the right term? A foil for Yuzu. May is very very stern, very orderly. She wears her uniform very nice. She's part of the fucking school council. And of course, Yuzu is wearing her uniform really loosely. like super loosely. She even customized it. In fact, I think they imply that she wears a different shirt too. Instead of like the standard white shirt, she wears a pink one. And of course, May's like, "You need to fix up your uniform. Button your shirt, you bitch." And then he's like, "Ah, fuck you. Yeah." And then there she and as time goes on, like she sees May kissing on this teacher. May's being used. It's interesting because May, she acts like she's being used, but she's really not. She's actually using the teacher. The thing about May is she kind of uses sex and romance and feelings to shut people up. Like she'll mac on people for favors. She and what ends up happening is she starts macking on Yuzu. Because she's all like, I'm going to shut you up. And Yuzu's like, "Oh my god, what the fuck? We're sisters, and ew, I like boys, or I think so." But she starts to develop feelings from there, and May acts like she doesn't really care, but she does care, and the way she shows it in her almost violent sexual advances. Like they're taking a bath together, and there's one part where she's like, "Let's touch." He's like, "Wait, I thought you wanted to touch me." And it's like, "Oh my gosh, you're so weird." And then there's one where Yuzu, there's some trouble, and May ends up moving in with her grandpa, or I believe, because there's some, I don't remember exactly. Again, I've been kind of skimming it, but Yuzu causes some drama in the school, and so May is like separated from her new family and Yuzu and whatnot, and starts living with her grandpa. And Yuzu decides that she's gonna like try to like straighten up a little bit and be like, "I'm going to help you," but there and there like she goes into her like room, and she ends up, and there like May for whatever reason like jumps at her and like rips her shirt open and like pops the button and everything, and it's just like, "I want you so bad." And then they sort of start macking later on, and it's because they're sisters, but like it's pretty clear that they both sort of like each other. Like there's even a part where like they spark, and then they start making out just randomly. Like it's like that random moment where like it gets really intimate, and like you just start macking on something. Like they even like when they're done, there's like, "Wait, what? Like what the fuck did we just do?" But then Matsuri comes into the picture, who's younger, but she's also a bit of a, she's not really a gyaru, but she definitely she dresses like the way she's dressed is interesting because she's wearing her uniform. She's wearing like the shirt and tie and jacket, but she's wearing a hoodie over her shirt with her tie hanging out, with her blazer over it. And I'm just like, you're gonna be warm, that's for sure. And she has her headphones on all the time. And Matsuri, her whole thing is like she sends masturbation videos to old men for money, and she pretends and says that it's her, and she's like, yeah, like she's a bit of a devious little business as well. And at this point, Yuzu, she's also got a bit of a backbone. She's also becoming more down to earth and more. She's not really much of a gyaru anymore. At this point, it's more of like just a look, and even then, like it's more toned down. Which this is actually my favorite form of a Yuzu. She doesn't really look very. She doesn't. I like it because she doesn't look. It doesn't seem as stereotypical. It's not like she's just like looking for a boyfriend and sex. She's more down to earth and whatnot. But yeah, like I'm not going to do too much spoilers. But the latest chapter, chapter 11, came out a while ago, and the plot's starting to thicken a little bit. I mean, I know about the whole stuff with May's dad, but I kind of skipped that part a little bit because I'm just like, I want to see the sexies. Which, of course, is really my main motivation for most Yuris. I just want to see some sexies. I believe the person who wrote Strawberry Panic also wrote Love Live, which I find kind of interesting. I think that's one of the reasons why I watched it. But yeah, this is really the only manga I've read. I did recently get the second volume of UQ Holder, but I'm currently reading it. By the time this video goes up, I'll probably be done. Though I'm not going to do too many thoughts on UQ Holder until like something big comes up. And of course, I'll be trying to read Berserk and collect Saint Seiya, and I'm gonna get Jocko the Galactic Patrolman and Citrus and just different stuff whenever it comes out. And I guess I'll go from there. But yeah, as far as like collecting stuff goes, my goal for this year is to finish my Marvel action figure collection because there are only a few more characters I want to get. Like I recently ordered the Nova Prime figure, and I saw the San Diego Comic-Con pictures of the Marvel Legends figures, and they're doing a new Iron Fist finally. They're finally giving us Iron Fist, which is a figure they canceled, but they finally are giving us Iron Fist in like 2015, and then I'll be finally done. Then I just need to get Carnage and the new Spider-Man because they're doing a comic version of Spider-Man, and I was an idiot and bought the movie version because... But yeah. That's that for manga and anime and toys, and why don't we move on to games now? Starting us off with video games is one video game series that I've been kind of neglecting a little bit. Freaking congestion. Sorry, I always clear my throat, but that game is Super Mario 3D Land for the 3DS. Because it kind of interested me a little bit because it seemed like it was more like Super Mario 64 one. I actually really like it. It's actually pretty fun. I like the way I like its style. I don't always play it with a 3D on. I know there's some moments in the game where like, you know, you're supposed to jump. When you jump, like the platform will flip to the other side and you have to jump to nothing because you need to know that the other side's going to pop up to where you're going to land. I know there's some things that are supposed to be for the 3D, but I generally just play it with a 3D off. And I play a little bit of Super Mario 3D World, which that's even awesomer. Though I feel like my main issue with that one is that it's a little too big, and I don't like how the Wii U, they showed also on the Wii U gamepad. It's kind of distracting if you ask me, but anyway, this is about Super Mario 3D Land. I don't remember where exactly I'm at. I think I'm on like the 4th or 5th world out of I think like 7, 8, or 10. I don't remember. 7, 8, 9, or 10, I guess. But it's fun. You can only play as Mario, which is okay, and I've seen like that golden Tanuki suit, and of course it gives it to you after you've died like a bunch of times. I don't die too much. In fact, I'm kind of proud about how I have so many lives, but I've gotten pretty low on them before at like certain levels. This game can be kind of hard sometime, and it's funny because like Mario, he's kind of slippery, and I feel like that, especially if you try to do like tricks and whatnot. Like if you're just like jumping around, not doing too much, then he's not going to be as slippery. But he is a little slippery, and one thing I didn't really like is that there's like a run button. I kind of wish that the run button was just the way he walked, or like what they do in a Super Mario 3D World where he gets faster as you continue to run. That's just me. But it's actually a really fun game. I'd recommend it if you like Mario. I'm kind of getting back a little bit into Mario, and I still need to play Donkey Kong, or Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. I probably should do a video about Donkey Kong Country Returns because I did play the 3DS version, and I do want to get Tropical Freeze. Anyway, Super Mario 3D World, it's a good game. You need to play it. You gotta play it and play it and play it. It's actually really fun. I'd recommend it. I actually really like the 3DS so far, but I say so far, but I've had it for a while. But yeah, Super Mario 3D Land. It is 3D. It's good. I was trying to be funny, but it ended up failing. Sorry. But anyway, yeah, it was pretty good. I like it. Another game I've been playing is I got Minecraft on my PS3, so I now have it on PC, Xbox 360, and PS3. I feel like I enjoy the console version best on PS3. I just think the controller's better, and I've been trying out some new things with it. Like I made a house, just a wooden house, and I tried a new thing where I had glass windows, sort of like around the house, as but like I had more than just like four windows, and I also made like a deck with fences over it, so I can't really jump, so no one can jump off. And I also have two doggies in a basement and a little doggy pen for them to get out. They don't really use it that much. I don't really know how to. I'm not really sure how to get it to work, but yeah, actually, I like Minecraft a lot. Like, I know a lot of people are just like, Minecraft is for people who are stupid. I'm like, no, Minecraft is for people who are creative and actually want to do something with themselves and, actually have, like, real drive and we're basically real people. I'm not trying to offend anyone who doesn't like Minecraft, but personally, I really enjoy it. It's probably my favorite PC game, and of course, I now have it on PS3, which means I get the Vita version for free and a discount for the PS4 version, which I'm definitely going to pick up. But yeah, Minecraft, it's pretty good. If you want to play online, let me know, and we can set something up, maybe even stream it or record it or whatever. I've been thinking about streaming Minecraft. I'm trying to get a server set up on the PC version for like Mizuho and whatnot, but I know not too many people want to play it, and I know a few people would want to play it with me, and so I'll probably just set something up just for us. But yeah, Minecraft. And lastly, I think I mentioned this in the last Wheneverly update as well, but I've also been playing a Warcraft 3 a fair amount. I've made more progress. Like, I saw the whole thing with Arthas and Frostmourne and how he's turned to the dark side, and I'm on the second to last chapter of the Undead in the campaign. I'm actually really enjoying the campaign because I feel like it's given me the single player experience that I'm kind of looking for, besides just playing custom games and turning off the enemies and just going around crafting and mining stuff in a game that's not Minecraft. I find the Undead are pretty. I feel like I'm starting to kind of figure out how this game works a little bit more and how to handle things. The mission I'm talking about is the one where you're supposed to kill the Archmages, and I'm able to kill the first two, but the last one I have so much trouble with. I'm not entirely sure why. I feel like if I set everything up, I can probably do it. But it's just like, I think part of it is because they have all these enemies like set up to kind of serve as like characters to kind of tone down your enemies. Or tone down your units to where by the time you get to them, you only have like a few left, like Arthas, Kel'Thuzad, and probably the little Frostworm guy and the ogre people that you can rescue from the cages, or the rock people, give or take who you want. I've been getting into the habit of like saving my game during the campaign because I feel like that kind of helps me with progress. Currently I've destroyed the the first town, which is going to be pretty useful, so I can have an extra source of gold. But it's kind of funny with the Undead. I feel like I go through gold mines much quicker than I did any other group. I don't know what it is. I haven't played as the elves, the night elves, or whatever they're called, the nature-y people. I haven't played as them. I've only played as the orcs, the humans, which I actually probably like the humans the best, and the undead. The undead I kind of like, and I hope there's a campaign part. There's a campaign story at some point where you get like more than just one group. Like you get to control like multiple factions, like say orcs and humans. I think that'd actually be kind of cool. And I know how this game is like a giant precursor to World of Warcraft. So if I play that playing World of Warcraft will definitely give me some different perspectives. But basically, yeah. And I've also been playing a little bit of just the regular custom games. I have two where it's just the humans just kind of making stuff, and another one where I've got humans, but then I've also got orcs on my team making stuff. I kind of want to make a machinima using it. But, yeah. really good game, and I really like these kind of RTS games. I like these kinds more than like Final Fantasy Tactics or Fire Emblem, even though those are pretty good games. But I like these kind. But I also like the kind that sort of like merge action and real time strategy, like Dynasty Warriors Empires kind of does that. And I know Savage does that, though I can never get it to work, and I kind of wish there was a single player mode and a way to kind of switch between the two. And then there's also Kingdom Under Fire, but I feel like that's more of like I feel like that's more of like Warhammer meets Dynasty Warriors, and as opposed to like D&D meets Dynasty Warriors, or just like a RTS meets Dynasty Warriors. I know the first Kingdom Under Fire game was an RTS, but then they switched it to like a hybrid. But Warcraft 3, pretty good game. And that's pretty much all I've done for the past, at least all the stuff that I'm willing to talk about, because I think everything else would be like a repeat or just stuff that I want to save for another time. Like I know Oath and Felghana I'm going to save, and basically any other game that I want to talk about in video form, I'll get to it in the future. Voice acting, at this point, I think I'm kind of on like the download. Like really, I've always kind of wanted to be a writer, and that's what I'm majoring in. Voice acting, admittedly, was kind of like while I write, I'll voice act as a day job, which is you can't really voice act as a day job. But so writing's my focus at this point, and I feel like I'm much better at writing than I am voice acting. Anyway, I'm still doing some stuff, other projects, which I'll talk about in the future. Nothing like professional or anything. I did audition for a professional role once, but I didn't get it, and I also sent out one of my short stories to a literary journal, but they didn't like it. They said it wasn't what they were looking for, and so I hope to maybe submit more stuff, and I'm trying to work on a new main website with WordPress. I feel like that's a good place for me to like kind of have both a website and a blog. I'm kind of trying to make a sort of like a professional sort of hybrid, I think. And that's just me. But more days Let's Play to come, and more stuff's going to be coming since school is going to start. Like, these videos are going to be kind of scarce to basically whenever I get a chance to do them, and I'll try to do the remaining Tales final thoughts. I have an idea of how I'm going to do them going forward, because it's going to change a bit, but this is Flames Veronica, YouTube Sasuke, signing out. Thanks for listening to this really long Wheneverly update. I know I'm really bad about doing long videos, but I personally prefer longer videos, especially if I like to just listen. Like, I personally don't mind if you listen to me while you do something else. I feel like that's the main point of my videos. So if any of you guys actually do that while watching my videos, that's perfectly fine. In fact, I might go get some pizza and listen to the Thack Pausecast. But anyway, so thanks for listening, and Flames Veronica, about to vomit. No. Flames Veronica, YouTube Sasuke, signing out. See you later.